All right, it's been a long time coming. Haven't posted since before Christmas break. I'll get into a difficult lesson here today, talking about ordering integers and ordering rational numbers, either from least to greatest or greatest to least. Probably the toughest chapter that we have, or toughest lesson in this chapter, toughest lesson overall, probably in Math 6, combining a whole lot of information that we have learned, prior concepts from previous chapters, and so we're going to throw all this together. I told you your main focus for this type of problem, if you have a decimal, a mixed number, a decimal, you want to get all of those numbers to be decimals. Decimals are the easiest form of number to compare, so we want to get all of those to be decimals. Luckily for us, we have 1 and 2 that are already decimals, so we only have to change the 2 mixed numbers, okay? In class today, told you that when changing these fractions, these mixed numbers into a decimal, you really don't have to worry about the whole number because it's just along for the ride, okay? So when we are doing this and changing this form from a fraction to a decimal, I don't have to worry about the -5. I only have to deal with the 1/3, and we'll attach that -5 at the end just because it's along for the ride. How we change a fraction into a decimal, we have to do some long division, okay? Your numerator for 1/3 is going to go inside. We are also going to put a decimal point with 3 zeros, so that gives us an opportunity to divide. Put the 3 on the outside. Ask ourselves, how many times can 3 go into 1? You should get 0. Bring up your decimal into your answer. How many times can 3 go into 10? You should get 3. 3 times 3 is 9. When I subtract, I get 1. Bring down your next number. Same question. How many times can 3 go into 10? You should get 3 again. 3 times 3 is 9. When you subtract, you get 1, and bring down your next number. Hopefully you're seeing a pattern in this case. You know it's repeating. So we can go ahead and just throw a line over that. That's our repeating notation. So when I'm rewriting this actually as a decimal, I want to make sure that I include that whole number, -5, decimal point, and a couple 3's, and then just put a line showing that that is actually repeating. Okay. Now we should know from prior experience, moving on to the next one, trying to change that into a decimal, that 1/2, the decimal point for that is just 0.5 or 5/10. I'm gonna actually use -2 and 50/100. I'll explain why here in just a second. So now we're in good shape. We can start ordering from least to greatest because 1, 2, 3, and 4, all of my numbers are in decimal form, and it's easy to compare with decimals, okay? So here are my numbers. I'm just gonna rewrite them just so I can stay organized here. I have 4 and 2/10. I have -5, excuse me, and we have that 3 repeating. I have now a -2.5, or -2 and 50/100, and then a +3 and 75/100. Okay. Now, I also gave you another hint in class, and that was that you want to have, or try to have at least, the same amount of digits behind your decimal. Reason being is just because, again, it makes it easier to compare. Notice that we only have 1 digit here behind our decimal point, and this one we have 2, and this one we have 2, and this one we have 2. How I can kind of fix this first one that only has 1 digit is just throw a 0 on. Does not change the value. It goes from 4/10 to 4 and 20/100, which is the same exact thing. Okay. And now I can just go ahead and look at this in terms of money. We write money with 1 whole number and 2 numbers behind the decimal point, so I can think of this as money. In this case, I have $4.20. I'm receiving $4.20. It's a positive. And this one I'm giving up, or maybe buying something for $5.33, so I'm giving away my money. It's a negative. The same thing with this one, giving away $2.50, and then positive $3.75. I'm receiving it. Somebody's giving it to me. If I'm going from least to greatest, I want to put my most negative number first in my list. The most negative number first. In this case, -5 and 33 repeating, 33 100s repeating, or 3 10s repeating. That's going to be my most negative. Okay. I know it can get a little confusing sometimes, thinking that your biggest number is actually the most negative, but this negative sign changes everything. So in my list, that's going to go first because it's the least. So I've already used that. I'm going to go ahead and cross it off. I have -2.5 is going to come next. It's my only other negative number. And then we just get into comparing positive numbers, which is pretty easy. 3 and 75 100ths or 4 and 20 100ths. Which one's bigger? Well, 3 is bigger than 4. Or I'm sorry, excuse me. 4 is bigger than 3. So 3 needs to come next since we're going to from least to greatest. And then I have 4 and 20 100ths. That's going to come last. Here is your list from least to greatest. Tough problem here. Tough lesson. Make sure you like and subscribe. Tell your friends.